Well, you asked me to do it, and I did it. I went on my very first Disney cruise on the Disney Magic, and, well, my very first Disney cruise, it made me cry a lot. Disney Cruise Review, let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, and today I will be your guide into the magical world of Disney Cruise Line. That's right, I did it. And let me tell you all about it. First, I'm just going to rapid fire some topics. The ship was built in the 90s. It is very well kept up. It was beautiful. It was spick and span clean. I didn't see any rust. The amenities were awesome. It's built like a traditional cruise liner, so it was kind of long and flat. Like the Lido was on the 9th deck. It's not even that high up. There was an adults only section. It was a nice cruise ship. The elevators were old but modernized. The cabin was nice. A single bed. The bed didn't split in half, but comfortable bedding, comfortable pillows, modern USB connections in there by the bed, by the desk area. Had a split bathroom. That was kind of neat. I got some feedback from people as to why they liked the split bathroom. There was a bathroom with a shower and a sink, and then a bathroom with a toilet and a sink. And I heard from a lot of people that it's perfect for families that are trying to get ready at the same time. So yeah, no complaints. It was wonderful. Now let's jump into the food. I heard a lot of people say that the food will blow your mind on the Disney cruise ship. It did not. I just want to say that the main dining room food that we had in all the different dining rooms was really no better than what I'd had on Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, certainly no better than what I'd had on Princess and Celebrity. It may edge out Carnival just a little bit, but I continue to hold to this idea that main dining room food is pretty similar across all the lines. It is elevated on some lines like Celebrity and Princess, but the Disney food, it wasn't mind-blowing. I would be interested to see if people have tried multiple lines, if they think that or not think that. The specialty dining, it works the same way, it seems, on Disney as everywhere else. When I went to the specialty dining restaurant to Palo, that food was much better than what you got in the main dining room, and it's because you paid for it. I believe that's true across most cruise lines. And then the buffet was fine. It was a good buffet. They had a lot of options. Soda is included at the buffet. There's some free soda stations, which is kind of cool. And I had the buffet on their private island. That was good. But there's no food that I had that would be like, oh, that's the best cruise food that I've ever had in my entire life. The entertainment, fan-freaking-tastic, okay? The amount of money that they put into these production shows is mind-blowing. There was animatronics. There was full-person puppetry. There was snow in the theater. There were pyrotechnics. There was, people flying around on wires, big video screens. There was a fireworks show. There was a stunt show. A lot of money is spent on the entertainment on the Disney cruise. So that was pretty amazing. Marvel Day at Sea, a really good time, a really good theme day, a sea day like no other day I had experienced, and then a ton of Disney character interactions. Look, what I'm trying to say is Disney is more expensive than other cruise lines, but you get what you pay for when you go on Disney. The real question that all of us as cruisers have to answer is, do you want to pay for the Disney experience? I don't think it's a question of whether the Disney experience is worth the money. I think the question is, do you want to pay the money for the Disney experience? That was one of the epiphanies I had during the cruise. And look, spoiler for me, I don't. I'm not a Disney fan. Like, I have no interest in doing anything Disney. This is where I was at before the cruise, and as you can see if you followed along, I went in with an open mind. I embraced it. I grabbed onto the magic. I did everything possible to integrate myself into Disney, and at the end of the day, I still come away not really a Disney fan. And so for me, Disney cruise isn't for me because I'm not a Disney fan, but for people that are Disney fans, it's absolutely a wonderful thing. And so we can't lose that. We can't lose the idea that just because we don't like the same thing, that one is good and one is bad. We're all cruisers, and there's a lot of different options for cruisers out there, and some cruisers Disney is going to be perfect for. At the end, I'll tell you who it's not perfect for. And this is what I think, and these are based on my observations during the week. The cool thing about the Disney cruise experience is it's like going to a Disney theme park without the huge crowds. I think people like going to Disney theme parks, right? I mean, it's obvious because there's so many people at Disney theme parks. There's no rides on the cruise ship per se. There's some water slides, that kind of thing. But I think people like being in the parks. They like having the shows. They like having the characters around. They like being immersed in that Disney culture. But I would say for some people, they don't like being around all the crowd of the theme park, waiting in the lines, jockeying for position with thousands of people. The cool thing about the Disney Cruise Line experience for the Disney fan is that it's like staying at a Disney resort, except you're cruising. And so I think you get all of the things that you like about Disney. You get that immersion into Disney. You get the shows from Disney, but without all of the crowds. That's one thing that I would surmise. The other thing I observed during my time on the Disney cruise ship is it's dang emotional. You know, and I don't know why. And so I want to tell you about a few times that I really got teared up on the Disney cruise ship. I tell you what, the very first show was Tangled, right? It was about Rapunzel, and she was a daughter that had been stripped away from her parents. When they were finally reunited, I was crying. They did the job. They got me in the feels, and that moment of reuniting and the culmination of that story, I was crying like a baby. Now look, if you know me at all, you know I'm a little overly sensitive, that I'm a lover, not a fighter, that kind of thing. I will cry at the drop of a dime, but I hadn't had a good cry in a couple months. And yeah, this hit me right in the feels. Another time that I cried during this cruise was during Marvel Day at Sea. Look, a teenager in the 80s, I would get comic books as often as possible, and I would get a lot of Spider-Man comic books. And look, I didn't always fit in. I didn't look like everybody else. I didn't believe the same things that everybody else. I kind of walked my own path, and so I was kind of, you know, just an ordinary misfit, right? I had friends, but I wasn't walking the road that everybody else was. And what I found in those Spider-Man comic books was Peter Parker, who is kind of an ordinary misfit that life thrust upon him the opportunity to do greater things. And so I connected that a lot, and I appreciate the fact that that was written by Stan Lee, somebody who really saw the culture at the time when he was writing and wanted to say that it was okay to be a little different. And so during the Marvel Day at Sea, and we lost Stan a couple years ago, and there's a small list of celebrities that I feel like I get bummed out when they pass away, a very small list. Stan Lee was one of them, Leonard Cohen, another one, Bob Dylan's on that list. And so when Stan passed, even though I didn't know Stan Lee, I felt something because of what he meant for our generation and our culture. And so there we are, Marvel Day at Sea, and they kick over to video screen, and there's Stan, captain of the cruise ship, in the moment with us, setting the stage for this great show that we were about to see. And I didn't expect it, and it got me. Like, if you watch that vlog from yesterday, you hear me say, "Oh, Stan," and it got me. It's getting me right now. So it was cool to see Stan Lee. Next day after the Marvel Day at Sea, we got up really early and we walked the 5K. That was really hard. For a guy my size who's as out of shape as I am, it was really hard to walk the 5K. Went back to the cabin, got room service, laid in the bed, and they got a great on-demand movie section. I watched the movie McFarlane with Kevin Costner, and it was emotional. It was a redemption story. It was about a guy going out of his comfort zone to make a better life for other people. Hit me right in the feels. It got me. And then I think it might have been the same night we went to see the new Disney thing, Encanto, and that one got me. It was just emotional moment after emotional moment. And then the final show of the cruise, on the last night of the cruise, was this Disney Dreams, and it was a Peter Pan story where some kid was going to lose their childhood if they didn't find their magic before 6 a.m. and they brought to bear like every popular Disney character and all the songs that are popular with Disney, and it was an emotional build. And then as soon as she could fly, boom, out comes Mickey and Minnie. They hadn't done anything the whole show, but just seeing Mickey and Minnie made me cry. So look, maybe that's what it is. Like, I feel like it's probably a connection to nostalgia. It definitely took me back to a time like where my family, when I was young, where my family was together, when we went to Disney when I was a kid, both my parents, my dad was still here, and I think all of that just kept hitting me in the feels, and it was very cathartic. And look, the reason I share it is I'm just curious as to whether I'm alone in that. Does anybody else get emotional when it comes to these Disney cruises? Is that part of what Disney does to you to make you emotional? emotional, that kind of thing. I appreciated it. Like, I appreciated having, like, I don't know, you know, I'm thankful that I had this opportunity. I'm very grateful for all the opportunities in my life, and maybe what I needed just at that moment, just to kind of, we've been in the muck and the mire for the last 2 years. It was nice to have that emotional release. So for that, I'm grateful. But I got to tell you who this cruise is not for. I got to tell you why it's not for me. But before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Simple value proposition. You hit the subscribe when the show goes live. Boom. You get notified. That's all it is. And it helps us out. So please hit the subscribe button. Thank you in advance. All right. Who is this cruise not for? This cruise is not for people that are uptight about the money. There's nothing wrong with being uptight about money, but if every time you think of a Disney cruise, you think, wow, that's too much money, don't go. It's a lot of money. I think I paid $2,200 for my 5 days if you add in all the expenses, maybe $2,300. It's a lot of money. And so if you are thinking, I'm not going to get my $2,300 worth or $11,000 worth or whatever you pay, don't do it. Again, I feel like you get what you pay for. You're paying for an exclusive Disney experience, and that's expensive in the world. You get that. But if you are not cool with the cost of that, don't do it. Casino people. Now look, I have no trouble cruising with no casino. I've cruised on MSC several times. They don't have a craps table. I don't gamble on MSC. Cruising does not equal casino for me. Casino is an add-on. Cruising for me is a good dinner and a good show. That's it. I just want a good dinner, a good show, be able to look at the ocean. Casino is a bonus. So, but if you are a casino person, if you have to have casino as part of your cruising profile, this is not the cruise for you because there is no casino. Another person that should not go is somebody that really likes entertainment that doesn't skew young. All the shows skewed young. You know, the fairy tales, the magic, all that. I like to go see cruise shows that are a bit more mature. I like a Broadway play. I like something a little more mature. So if you want any of that big show, big theater entertainment, and you don't want it to be skewing young, I don't think Disney is the right spot for you. If you need to work while you're on the cruise ship, if you need the internet to work, you can do it. The internet was really good. Let me say that. The internet was really good, but it was really expensive. $89 per gigabyte. That's really expensive. So if you're using a lot of, I think my bill, I think my internet bill is $360 on the cruise ship, and I was able to upload like 2 shows and some Instagram reels and to keep up with comments. So that was a little expensive for me. I didn't even get to do the show every day. But yeah, you know, again, that's for my business. No big deal. But if you're just a casual person and you have to keep in touch with work, it could be a little bit expensive. So maybe you don't want to go on a Disney cruise. And really the biggest person that should not go on a Disney cruise is somebody who doesn't really care about Disney at all, because it's a lot of Disney. Again, I mentioned I wasn't the hugest Disney fan. I'm a Marvel fan. I was excited about Marvel Day at Sea. I had a good time with Marvel Day at Sea, but take away Marvel Day at Sea, I would have been Disneyed out pretty quick. By the time we got to day 5, I was Disneyed out. They have their own adult section, but even in the adult section, it's still pretty Disney. We went to the piano bar. They're doing like Disney villain songs. It's Disney, Disney, Disney. And I know that seems obvious, but it's not as obvious until you're in the middle of it and you're like, dang, it's a lot of Disney. The caveat to that is you don't have to be a Disney fan, but you got to have a Disney fan with you, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your kids. As long as somebody's in your party is into the magic, I think you're going to be okay, because I tell you what, there were so many kids on that ship that were full of the magic, and that was a beautiful thing. It was cool to see that. It was cool to see Disney through those kids' eyes, and you completely understand it. They're completely bought into the magic, and tons of adults too. Again, there's a lot of people that this cruise is for, but I think you have to have some love for Disney. You got to be tied into the magic a little bit, or it's not going to be easy. Now, again, I went full bore. I had a blast. I had the emotional release. I connected. I got excited for characters. I did the whole 9 yards because I paid my money, and I was definitely gonna look. A lot of people say, "Oh, I looked happier on this cruise." I don't know when I've looked unhappy on a cruise, but that was a weird kind of commentary that was coming out. "Oh, you look so much happier." No, you know, look, maybe I don't know. I've never had a cruise that I didn't like. So, but yeah, that was what I was there for. I was there to have as much fun as possible, and so I tried to have as much fun as possible. So that's the review. I would love to hear your comment. Am I making any sense? Does this make any sense to you, or am I just still in this bubble? Again, I didn't want to rush this review, but I know a lot of people are waiting for it, and I wanted to talk about it. But this is how I feel coming off the Disney ship. I understand it better. I understand that it's not for me, but there was some magic that happened on that ship, and it made me cry. So there you go. I would love to hear your comments below, and yeah, do that. You could also hit the like button. That would be great. That would help us out a lot. And unfortunately, I'm still forced to dole out a punishment. If you do not hit the like button, then the next Comic-Con that you go to, you'll be forced to cosplay as the Red Skull when you really want to cosplay as Spider-Man. Nobody wants that. This is Tony with Lido Loca. Until the next time, see you on the Lido. Bye.